There we go. All right. It said I was going live, and now it says I am live. So good stuff. See how my hair is doing the backwards thing. There we go. I've got my little curl. There was a little girl with a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. I feel like I'm not centered. There we go. That's a little bit better, right? Oh, but then I'm in the way of the heart. Who wants to be in the way of a heart? Not me. But there we go. Okay, good morning. Or I guess technically, at least where I am, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's like barely a minute past noon. I'm putting on some socks. I don't know about you, but yay. Please, whoever shows up in the chat at the beginning. Oh, Shannon, you made my dream. You make my dreams come true. So I was about to say, can you put on see and hear you? Yay. So I can read you, and I can see a little comment in a little ball, but you can't see me as much as you. But yay, thank you. Thank you. I'm trying on some new socks that I just bought. So far, so good. And here we go. Here we go with another round of Destination Decluttered. Destination Decluttered on January 12th, 2026. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, right? So, some of you, I think, were on, yes, happy to help, and thank you for being happy to help, because it does help. Some of you, I think, were on the Destination Decluttered TikTok live this morning. And Cheryl, good morning. And Michelle, there we go. So I'm curious. So I ended the TikTok live about 2 hours ago. And I'm just curious, in that chunk of time, what good stuff did you make happen? Notice I didn't say, did you? I'm trying to not ask a yes or no question. But notice, I'm asking you to look for the good in what you did. Coffee and calm. Ah, love it. Love it. What good stuff did you make happen since last we spoke? Nothing is too small to count. The only thing is it had to have made you feel good. Now, I'm used to doing things that make me feel good. So I made myself a cup of tea. I took a shower. I responded to some emails and some texts. I did a wee bit of vacuuming. I chunked down the vacuuming. Okay. I chunked down the vacuuming because I could have easily done the whole house because the whole house needs it. But I had a chunk of time. So I only did the kitchen because we were taking down this giant Christmas wreath and putting it down the basement. So good stuff. Yay. Okay. Now we get some good stuff. I love it. Since then, lots of paper filing. Samantha, awesome. Cheryl says, unloaded the dishwasher on my break. Yay. So then there's a place for your dirty dishes to go. Good stuff. Coffee and Chaos said, cleared off my desk at the office and hopefully didn't just push it off to the side and let it dump on the floor, right? Cleared it off. Whew, there we go. Clear desk. Shannon says, I wrapped up a couple of projects at work. Oh, wrapping up. Wrap it up. I'll take it. Don't you love wrapping up projects? Yay. Yeah, file 13. Boop. There you go. And notice if you do that, if you move things without like paying attention to them, you're just going to have to deal with them when they're on the floor. You're just delaying the process, or technically could conceivably make it worse. I don't know. Sometimes actually, here's a fun thing. Sometimes when you're going through stuff, when you have it all nice and neat, sometimes one of the best things you can do is unneaten it, is to spread it out and kind of break the spell of the neat pile and make it messy so that you can make better piles, you know? So yay for the good stuff that got done. Are you writing that down? Have you written it down to yourself? I know you just wrote it in the comments for me, but did you write down those things for yourself? Those things that you just told me, they matter. The good stuff you made happen is you creating the life you want. The place to put your dishes so that you have a nice clean sink and you have nice clean dishes. The fact that your papers are filed so you know where they are. Oh, that feels good, right? Wrapping up a couple of projects at work. Yeah, wrapping it up. Barbara transferred 2 storage units into one 8x10. Okay, some doom versus organizing and purging, but still progress. Yeah. And knowing what you need to go through and knowing what you don't is progress itself. Write these things down in your book of awesome stuff I made happen. Cleaning off your desk. Notice I can clear it. I know that there are scientific studies that show that having a clear work surface can encourage you to think more clearly. So that's a great thing. Sue, good morning. Got showered and ate breakfast. Love it, because so did I. Cleared emails. Yep. Decluttered office trash. Yep. Prioritized. Ooh, I love the prioritizing. My to-do list for this hour in my notes and starting now. Go. I love it. Yeah. Yes. And see, Barbara, I made note of some items, and Barbara, I don't know. We joke sometimes in our house about something being, like subsidized by, Big Christmas or one of those. It's like, I am not being secretly subsidized by Big Notebook, okay, or big office supplies, because really it would just be one kind of pen and one kind of paper. Pretty simple. But yay, making some note of some items up here. If the note is up here, I don't care what it is. If the note is up there and you can't easily do the thing, just write it down. Write it down. More a mental note, as Barbara said. But Barbara, I offer to you, take a load off, Annie, and put the load right on your notebook, okay? Taking the load off your brain, because your brain might forget it. It might misfile that info. This is why when we were down our basement, basically our storage unit, and some things were coming to mind, I trotted upstairs and grabbed my notebook and flipped to the back and said, nope. I said, basement notes. Okay. Marietta, nice to see you. So what we're doing right now is we are kind of calibrating our system. Okay. Notice it's kind of a teeter-totter thing, or sometimes it's more like when you're driving your car. We are programmed, I think, as humans, and we are programmed maybe in our society to kind of unconsciously veer towards the unhelpful, veer towards the negative, making a list of all the things you didn't get done and dismissing the things you did get done. We don't do that here. We're going to course correct. We're going to note, yes, and we're going to take the drama out of it. Yes, there are some things that I did not get done between 10 a.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Eastern, and that's okay. I have them written down. But I got this good stuff done, and I feel good about what I got done. We are not encouraged to feel good about the good stuff. At least maybe, I don't know. I can only speak from a female point of view. So I don't know about boys, but don't show off. Don't be boastful. Now, you're not showing off and being boastful to other people, but you can feel good about what you did to yourself. Yep. There we go. Now, Barbara is saying, I love this. Barbara says, will do. I kept my art classroom clutter-free the entire first week of 2026. Now I can maintain that and focus on home and storage units. I think, unless you're really focusing on Carla, I think you meant your car. The thing I would do, Barbara, too, please, how you did something last week, if it worked and you got the result equaling clutter-free classroom for a week, what I would recommend is, again, when you're writing stuff down, write down the recipe. What were the ingredients of what you did last week that ended up with your product, your end result of classroom clutter-free? Because when you write it down, you can always refer back to it, especially when it's kind of not ingrained in your system yet. So write that down too. I have done that before when I say, these are the things, and I know it's in one of my books here. These are the things I can do when I'm not feeling well. And man, were there quite a few things that came up and I was able to do it. Yep. All righty. Marietta is making progress on her move out of the country. Rock on, my friend. made our packing list of home goods I want to keep in the US and store in a unit. We are moving to a furnished rental apartment. So you have destination furnished rental. So then you say, therefore, there are things that will be already in that place. We don't need to move them, which is great because you pay to move things. Selling most of our large furniture, TVs, etc. Rock on. Marietta, your BFF during this whole process is going to be you making sure you're feeling good physically. As we say, number one, everybody is going to benefit from these. Number one, making sure you feel good physically. Number two, making sure that when you approach a project, you have checked in and your nervous system is kind of settled down, not dead to the world and not like spiking in overwhelm, but calming down and then writing down. Yep. Right. Calming down and writing down. All right. Now talk about writing down and then chunking down, of course. And Barbara's being honest. Well, it helped to have a day over break with no students to get it right to start out. There's nothing wrong with having a clean slate. So this is an interesting thing. Yes, that I got it started. So I had a clean slate. How did you keep your slate clean when students were around? The other thing too is, are you training your students to also participate in the act of maintaining a decluttered art room? Just something to think about. Why not? Kids don't learn just from their parents. They learn things all over the place because little kids, all of us should be like sponges, absorbing. Notice what you can absorb. And sometimes we do that and we absorb bad things. So let's squeeze out the bad stuff, rinse off the sponge, and then be more selective as to what we absorb and what we repel. Yeah, you know what? Please. I love it when I have a few days to get things in order with nobody else bugging me. That's an awesome thing. But notice that was only at the beginning. But it's somehow, Barbara, you did something, and I say this to everybody. You did something to get you to where you are today. If you like where you are, how your home looks, yada, yada, keep doing what you're doing. I'm not about to break a system that works and it's easy for you. Rock on for what you're doing. I show up to help you. I am here to help you where you don't know. When you have the thought that may not be true, because our brains lie to us sometimes. Our brains are misinformed sometimes. They don't mean to lie. I am here to help you when you have the thought, I don't know what to do. And you're kind of looking for answers. I'll show up and I'll help you. Okay. And Barbara, I think this even doubles it down. Barbara says, yes, trying to train the kids, but some of these kids nowadays, are we sounded like old people? Kids nowadays, if you say back in my day, I'm going to slap you with an old person sticker, okay? But notice this. But some of these kids nowadays have learned few helpful behaviors from home. All the more reason that it is so awesome that you're a teacher, okay? That you are there showing them that there is another way to go through life outside of the unhelpful way they are being trained and raised at home. You are helping to make the world a better place. Just you and me, we are the world. You are making the world a better place by showing those kids a different way to be that is more helpful to them and to them outside of the home that they're living in. Okay? Yay. Yay. Hey, thank you, Shannon. I always love to see a laughing face, Nancy with a laughing face. And Wendy says, I so appreciate that your tips unlocked my brain. So notice your brain was locked. Unlock your brain for so many roadblocks. You showed me how to find my own detour. Yay. I love teaching people how to drive. I'm a teacher in a way. Barbara, you're teaching kids of a certain age. I'm teaching kids of a certain age. Whatever age you are, I'm here to teach and to help and show you a way that's different than how you've been trained. And not only to just do it for you and it only works in the classroom. But say, here are some skills. Take these crayons with you and create the world you want outside of this classroom. You know? Uh-huh. Ah. And Barbara says, I'm guilty too. No, you're not guilty. Guilty is an interesting word, and I don't like to use it a lot because it's not helpful. I would say, I'm human. I'm human. I'm not perfect. Great. None of us are. Awesome. Welcome to the Not Perfect Club. Yeah, I told my new to me cat, notice, you make me want to have a better home because part of you wants a better home. Yay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. And notice, Wendy, when you talk about it, and I mean, I'm the one who tends to look at things through the lens of like the road trip and stuff like that. Roadblocks, it's just a block in the road. It's not a wall that you ran into. And even if you ran into a wall, a dead end wall, that you didn't notice the sign back there that said, dead end, you can always back up. How do you do it? I can't even remember anymore. I'm pretty much just looking at the thing there. Back up, turn around, and then say, where was I headed? That road didn't get me there. How can I get there? And show me how to find my own detour. Now, detours are interesting because sometimes detours can be fun, but when you are detouring all the time, you may be secretly avoiding trying to get to where you are. But yay, Wendy, I'm so grateful that I am helping you because that's why I show up doing these YouTube lives and TikTok lives. So I put this out to all of you. It's what, 12:18. I'm going to be here for the next 42 minutes. Now, I don't know if you can be here for this entire time, but if you can, or even for however long you can be here, let's use our time together so I can help you discover what you can do, even if part of your brain says, I don't know what to do, I feel stuck. Okay? Yeah. And this is neat. Wendy says, yes, I was stuck in my own way. I've gotten in my own way all the time, so many times, right? You are the light at the end of the tunnel, like, hey, over here, try this. And the neat thing is, you have this approach. You have that spirit in you, much like mine. You have your own co-pilot. You have co-pilot Wendy, who can now even just imitate what I do. Like if I were teaching somebody how to do something I didn't know, but somebody taught me, I might try the way that it worked for me. So yay for all of us, whether you believe it right now or not. I know you have a voice and a spirit inside of you that says, hey, over here, let's try this. Why not? What you did over there didn't work. No big deal. Let's try this. Maybe this will work. Experimentation, lack of judgment, out of judgment and just curiosity. Can you imagine if the guy, I was thinking about this last night, Thomas Alva Edison, if he was like, F it, I give up. We'd be sitting here in the dark. But he said failure is not a failure because you're just learning something the next time and the next time and the next time. The other thing about him is he had help. He did. He had somebody else doing a lot of stuff for him so he could focus on what he was best at. Okay? Yeah. And Wendy, notice what you love. Notice everybody today when you use the word love and when you use the word hate. I love this community. It is such a supportive group. Notice that it feels good to be in a supportive environment. Yay. How can I also be in a supportive person? How can I notice, are there other areas of my life where there are supportive environments? And if there are not, how can I minimize my interaction with the non-supportive in my own life? Right? Noticing, hey, wait a minute. If I hang around with those guys, it's going to be a bunch of, complaining, the draining complaining. I want to get filled up and I want to do stuff. I want to have fun and experience the rainbow, the spectrum of life, all of it, whatever my definition is, before I die. So yeah, let's all do this. And learning it, we can chunk it down into, let's start in the comfort of our own homes. If you don't know what to do outside of your home, let's figure out some stuff inside, right? So once again, I remind you, I am here to help you where you think you're stuck. Now, maybe you are stuck. I don't know, but I definitely don't know anything you don't tell me. So if you're feeling stuck, write it down in your notebook and write it in the comments. If you are finding, because we're hanging out together in this supportive environment, that there are things that are working for you, what are the things that make it easier for you to do things that you're just noticing now? Makes it easier for me to do things when I am surrounded by supportive people, when I am supporting myself, when I quiet down my kind of toxic behaviors, as Wendy says, and I quiet that down out externally and internally, because she says if I find I am toxic towards someone, I do the same. Quiet that down, and then turn up the encouragement, the support, the lifts and separates, the chunking it down, and write that stuff down. Create your recipe book for how you get stuff done. Okay? Yay. Yay, Wendy. I love it. She's saying, I keep an eye out for toxic behaviors. If someone is toxic to me, I see my way out of their space. Right. It's like if you're hanging around with somebody and they smell bad, you can try to make them aware that they smell bad and offer a bar of soap. But if they don't notice it, they're not going to change because they think they're fine. When you recognize it and they're not aware of it, for the best for you, you get away from their cloud of smell, right? But also notice, I was toxic to myself, says Wendy. Letting go of those negatives have helped lift me out of depression I was in, and I have grown so much. The decluttering journey helped me shed the heavy thought process. Yay. And I'm glad it helped you shed the heavy thought process. And I hope it has made the thought process for you light and doable and approachable. Because what we're doing here is we're using the thing that I don't care how great AI will get, it will never replace the human brain for a lot of things. The human brain is a place of mystery and magic. So let's use it like the coolest computer ever, because my brain is different from yours, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Yeah. My therapist has reminded me I'm not the person I was before, says Wendy. I have grown and continue to. Now notice when I say grow and my hands are going up like this is making me think of a plant I have in the other room. You know how my plant is growing? Because I'm paying attention to it. I am feeding it. I am making sure it's in a right condition where the sun is coming in. I rotate it occasionally. And to be honest with you, I might have mentioned this. I am also looking for a new home for it because it needs to flourish. It deserves a better home than I can give it because our ceilings are, I don't even know how high our ceilings are here. 8, 9 feet, not 7. That would be wicked low. But this tree is flourishing, but it can only go so far because of where it's planted. So how can you make your home a plant pot for you to flourish in? And if the plant pot that you're in is too constrictive, how can you spread out and flourish yourself? Because we all are growing. We all are growing. We are evolving and we're changing, whether we realize it or not. Man, you look at a picture of yourself from 30 years ago, and then all of a sudden you realize you got all these wrinkles, that gravity is taking over once a certain amount of hormones and whatnot are not going through your body. We're all changing and we can't stop it. So let's lean into the change that we like and minimize the stuff that we don't like. We have the power to do that. So again, I'm going to take a sip and I ask you, where are you stuck? Where are you stuck? Oh, excuse me. My phone just did something. My sister just make sure everything is okay here. There we go. All is well. Let me think where I am stuck. Where am I stuck? I'm not going to say I'm not stuck. I am stuck with the fear that I'm not doing enough. I can be stuck when I have free time thinking I should be doing something, that it feels weird to not be doing something for to work. So and I know this sounds like, oh, nice problem to have. I am practicing doing less. I am practicing getting comfortable with the thought of I don't always have to be doing something. I am not going to get in trouble if I am not productive all the time. However, I am getting stuff done, the stuff I want to get done, and I am just taking a slower pace. But I will get stuck. Even today, I've had to stop and be like, you know what? You don't always have to have that fear of rushing from one thing to the next. So I get stuck with that and then I stop. I say, wait a minute, you're right. I don't need to rush. Now I keep an eye on the clock and I didn't want to be, cleaning myself in the shower and totally miss this YouTube live like I did last week. Oops, human. But do I need to rush with everything? No. Do I need to, cram my day full of stuff? Yes, no, maybe so. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, and I love it. Wendy is saying, I get stuck trying to make the situation perfect before I start. Like I need a certain tool or item. So I'm working on trying to use what I have versus waiting to get the perfect tool. I love that you used the word perfect and you used it twice. This is a word that anytime you think it, I want you to get curious because perfection does not exist. Perfection does not exist. So you're doing something that you will never get to. It's going to be you're going to be waiting a long time for perfection. Get it good enough. Good enough is good enough to get you started. And then you can try to improve. You can't improve on something that doesn't exist. You can't edit a book. You can't edit unless you have a rough draft. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. And Wendy, I love this. I am so glad you interrupted that thought of, the thought of it. I have a section in my home, she says. It needs to be organized, she says. I put it off thinking, I need bins to help sort. I finally figured out that I can get bins if I find that they are needed. And I will share this with every single one of you. When you are decluttering, do not buy bins just to help you sort. Piles on the floor work fine. A random empty laundry basket is perfect. A cardboard box that you got something delivered in is great. The surface of your bed can be used for different things. Each one of those containers, those things that create boundaries that that the certain item goes from here to here. Please do not waste your time and money and thought process saying, I need the right containers. I need something I don't have before I can start. You have everything you need in order to declutter. Now, that being said, post declutter, when you see what you have that you want to keep, that's when containers can be beneficial. But notice, I couldn't, I want a container that fits in this square that looks good, but the things that I'm saving also should fit in those. So notice this to everybody. Perfection will jam you up. So be wary of it when that word perfection pops up in your head. Please know it's going to steer you wrong. It's going to stop you. And I just say, seriously, lower the bar from perfect. You know, those things that you get at like you go to, I'm coming up with Paragon Park because this is where I grew up, like an amusement park. And back in the day, they had like the little thing that you would hold the handle And it would almost be like, what kind of lover are you? And it's like cold fish to hot mama to, and all those different things. Perfection is unattainable. Perfection will never light up. You can do everything you want and perfection will never light up. And even if it does, it's a flash. You can look at a room and this looks perfect, but as soon as you walk in it, your foot is going to make a footprint in the perfect lines of the vacuum. You're going to sit on a couch and move a pillow. It doesn't look perfect anymore. Perfect is mostly unattainable and not sustainable at all. So drop it down. Good enough. And good enough can still look awesome because your idea of enough is up to you. So I love that Wendy highlighted this. Please, even today, notice if you use the word perfect. If you are striving, notice that I'm striving for perfection. Well, you're going to spend a wicked lot of time in strive mode because perfection is always pushing itself down the road. It's like, I get the perfect body and then I drank a glass of water and suddenly the weight, I finally got to a weight and then I lived and it changed. Finding a range of acceptability that feels good to you, Yep. Now, Wendy, I love this because you're saying I struggle with distractions. And yes, putting things in other places so you don't get distracted looking for them can be an option. But also practicing focusing, building your focus muscle so that you feel safe walking from the bathroom to the kitchen to get the paper towels and then back to the bathroom with the paper towels. Hey, this is good. Cynthia, nice to see you. Thank you for helping me chunk down office day to paper box hour. Notice, I went through the to-do box, recycled a lot, filed a couple, and left the to-read box for next time. And then look at you. There's a saying in my family of origin, as I like to call it, that it's like a gas expands to fill the space available. If you give yourself a day to do something, it will take a day. So if you don't want to spend your day doing that, chunk it down and experiment how much you can get done in an hour. And yay, Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff, friend. And so notice that Cynthia is saying, oh, isn't this interesting? She's like a little scientist. She's saying, when I did that before, when I did an hour before, or a office day before, I didn't get as good as a result as I did when I just said paper box hour. And man, when I have paper box hour, that worked well. So the neat thing is, Cynthia, I will share a secret with you. That worked for you this week. So if you have paper box hour next Monday, you will have far fewer papers in it because of what you did this week. So paper box hour, you may give yourself that hour next week. It may not even take you an hour because you kind of played catch up. You played catch up this week doing your hour. So you can still show up and then be like, oh, maybe I will have time to read things during this hour. And notice what worked, hour, notice what didn't, day, AKA chunking it down. So write that on your calendar for next year. What works? Write it down. Create your own formula for success. All right. Now, Sue is saying, about the containery things. So true. I've got a garage full of empty containers, sorted and donating most. So many baskets, bins, plastic tubs. It was more fun to procrastinate by organizing. Yeah. I know better now. And I notice, and I would even say this, Sue. I did this. I know better now. And I noticed that I did that in the past. Distance yourself from your unwanted behavior by simply shifting the tense of the verb in your sentence. You had done that. I used to buy a lot of containers. Right here. Me, contain, contain, contain. Look at how much these things are containers. Do I buy them now? No. Do I have some empty ones in the basement? Yes. When I helped my aged mother and was decluttering her home, was there an overabundance of containers because she had the thought, I just need the right container. The container is for storing something you've already organized. And once you've already decided something that you want and to store it, oftentimes you don't need as much space or as many containers as you think you do. Yeah. And I love it. I have found life is less distracting since I've been on the declutter journey. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff, people. So yeah, and honestly, I will be completely sincere. When you look at the containers behind me right here, that's full of stuff. That I know what's in that. I know what's in that. That's art. There's something in there. Nope. Those are empty. That's okay. I know what's in here. Some of these are empty. Yeah. But it would look weird to me if there were kind of, as I like to say, like empty, like a missing tooth. You know, an empty shelf looks weird to me. If I had to do it all over again, would I buy a storage unit this big? Maybe because of the space here. But notice, even what I have, I'm kind of fluffing out to fill the space. So I even don't need as many containers as I have. But I also kind of like the way this looks. I have an idea of what I could use in there, perhaps. Like, you know how they have those Murphy beds that kind of flip out? I've thought about getting one of those. I might still. We'll see. The fewer items you have, the less you need to think about. The fewer homes you need to make for stuff. The fewer things you need to sort through, the better it feels. Yay. Yeah. And this can be fun too. As Wendy says, when I was on the bulk of my decluttering journey, the empty bins were my progress checkpoints. Empty bins make me smile. Yeah. And I say to you, you got any empty bins? Could you create one empty bin this week? Could you empty 10% out of one bin? The answer is probably yes, but will you? Might. If you have the time and the energy and the mindset to do it, you could. Now, I emptied out. It was funny because I have a box. Actually, it's funny. I've got one right here. This size box. You guys see this? This is like the ones I have down here. I realized that a box like this can be easy to go through, or it can take a lot of time and energy. When I was talking earlier today about my the books that I wrote back in the to myself in the 90s, pictures and photo booths. Rescue the cinema. I'm so me. Oops, something fell out. Hold on. Note to self. Shoebox diorama. I have no idea what it means now. I can easily throw it away. But sometimes a box can easily go through, and the same size box can hold concentrated memories. A year's worth, half a year's worth of stuff. So pace yourself. Pace yourself. Feel good about what you did. Speaking of feeling good about what you did, earlier in today's YouTube live, folks said they had worked on some stuff today. How about, have you been doing anything since this live has been on? Have you been decluttering? This might be a chance to kind of pause and check in with yourself to celebrate your wins. And if not, please use some of this time to jot down some of the things you want to get done. I jotted down, take a shower. I took a shower. Yay for me. Have I texted my mother? No, I haven't. I will though, I swear. Now, good stuff. Okay. Good stuff, people. Oops. Where's my, there we go. I am going to get good stuff done today, even if it's just a few things. I will share with you when my husband and I went away this weekend. We just did one overnight. It was so nice. And one of the nice things about it is we did not try to cram too much into the time we had. It felt very delightful, and I liked the pace with which we did things. We did fewer things, but we took our time and enjoyed what we did. We had space in between to rest. We had a hotel room to rest in, which was clutch. And it felt really good. I will share with you. And I even said to my husband, again, noticing myself what works. I'm going to write it down. Where's my thing? Do fewer things. At an enjoyable pace. And how can I use that in the future? When we go away on Wednesday, do fewer things, but at an enjoyable pace. Don't try to cram everything in. The fear of not making the most of something can get you exhausted. Cynthia, I love this. Tossing donation request mailings and making a list of 2025 donations while enjoying a cup of Darjeeling tea. I love it. Very cool. I've done the same myself. Yeah. Yes. Fear of missing out. Yeah. Fear of missing out can let you enjoy more things fully instead of doing dozens of things and rushing the experience. Right. Because we were in a neighborhood. We went up to Brooklyn because I wanted to go to the Design Within Reach. They have an outlet store, I guess it's an outlet in Brooklyn. And little did I know when we got there, but there's also ABC Carpet is there. And I think West Elm and a bunch of things. And part of me was like, oh man, we're here. We should try to go all these places. And I was like, I don't want to. There's nothing that calls to me about West Elm when it's full price. Why would it be? Well, actually, that's an interesting thing. If it doesn't call to me full price and then I'm suddenly buying it half price, did I even like it to begin with? But it was great to go to the place we wanted. And then we walked across and we said, oh, let's get something to eat. And that happened wicked easy. And we kind of explored and discovered. That was fun. Kept an eye on the time because we wanted to get to our hotel. And it just felt delightful. And the fear of not fitting it all in. If I want to go to those stores, I know where they are. I can go to them in the future. And not the fear of, well, what happens if? There was one chair that I actually kind of dug. It was more expensive than, I swear, a car I've purchased recently. Not recently, back in the day. But I said, you know what? I'm going to trust that the chair that I want to go in this room still exists. It's coming my way. And so I'm going to say, I get you, bright green chair. I love you. So I had my husband take a picture of me in that chair. Right? And there we go. And if it works out that the chair that was supposed to be here in my mind doesn't happen, I might be able to go get that green chair. And if not, no big deal. I love it. Laura GV, nice to see you. In the club, we all fam. Exactly. Good to see you. Speaking of that, just a heads up, as I've probably mentioned, and I will, and that's the thing I will do probably tomorrow, is send out an email to the club. Send email to club, which is I will be doing, after today, there's a TikTok live and a YouTube live tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Ooh, that's quite a while. I will be off the digital grid because we had an unexpected opportunity to travel. And one of my goals for this year is to easily be able to, notice I'm practicing this. So thank you for allowing me to practice it in front of people. To easily be able to say yes to unexpected opportunities that interest us, even if they cost money. Now there's a lot packed into that one sentence, right? But notice that. Easily be able to, feeling comfortable, say yes to an unexpected opportunity. Oh, I didn't expect this, but I can say yes, even if it may cost money. So I am working on that. Hence, I unexpectedly, as of this time last week, we weren't sure if we were going to go. This time we are. But there will be more TikTok lives and YouTube lives next week. I'll pick it up where I left off. So you don't need to worry about it. Yeah. Now, Wendy says, that is how I am looking at clearance. So I don't overbuy, because the fear of what if I love it and can't find it again? The universe will find something for me that might be better. Yeah. Yeah. There was somebody on TikTok recently who said that is like, the universe is sending me what I want or better. I actually have or better written down here that my friend Heather, who I just heard from today, said to me in October of 1922. Oh my God, I'm not that old. October of 2022, or better. I love it. There we go. Laura says, we are trying to declutter our freezer spaces. Awesome. How about this? We are decluttering our freezer spaces. We are not buying any frozen foods we aren't immediately using. I have a surplus of homemade apple butter, cider, and pies from Harvest 24. There we go. Consider donating it to Facebook Free Community. I think that's great. Notice you have an abundance. I don't know. Do you have apple trees? Is that where it came from? You may notice this, and you might want to write note to self when the harvest comes in the fall of 2026, putting a note on your calendar whenever that happens to say, hey, I made too much of this stuff in 2024 and was still eating it in January. If we get this, we have our own organic trees. Awesome. So you can already start thinking, I don't like the fact that I have too much. What can I do to share my bounty during the season this year, doing something different? And that may not be, making all those things yourself and donating them. Maybe it's, offering apples to people. 24 was a bumper crop. Okay. But we had no apples last year. Okay. You know what? Welcome to farming, right? But notice, even with no apples last year, you're still feeling like there's too much. I will share with you that I have certain foods that I will love, and then I'll be like, I am done. I am done. Like we are right now. This is funny you mentioned this, Laura, because as I said, we are going to be traveling. And I said to my husband before I came in to do this live, I said, hey, this is the time now where we have leftovers. So we do not need to make any fancy dinner plans tonight or any fancy meal plans at all between now and when we leave at like 5 a.m. on Wednesday, because let's eat what we have. And we still have wiggle room in the freezer. So we're not so much worried about what's in the freezer, but we have enough in the fresh food part of the fridge to then be saying, stop the buying and start the eating of what I already have. Play with your toys. I used to say that to my dad. My dad loved to go collect stuff. He didn't come from a lot, so it meant a lot to him when he made enough money to go buy whatever he wanted, and he enjoyed that part. But then once he got it home, I was always hoping that he truly enjoyed hanging out with what he bought. That's how I am now. I even said again to my husband last night, I love the fact that when you and I buy something, we make an effort we actually take it out of the box and use it and put it together. Has anybody here ever bought something and it stays in the box for weeks? I have. And I don't like that feeling, because if I was so hot and heavy in buying it, why is it that once I've got it in my house, am I not opening it? Now, my inner coach is like, you're probably afraid it's not going to work. You're afraid it's going to be too hard to set up. You're afraid. Yeah, could be, Rabbit. Could be. So notice the things you do, and are they giving you the life you want? Notice the cluttering habits you have. Are those giving you the life you want, or is it making your life feel, And if it's the latter, let's do something about it. If you want. I'm only here to help you if you want the help, right? Mm-hmm. Right. Wendy is saying, I had so much stuff that I had, past tense, so much stuff that collected dust. Didn't get to that someday day, but now I try to only do something that someday will be sooner and not put off. Notice the things you're allowing to catch dust. If you still like them, and I'm thinking really more, not so much, I mean, tchotchkes, yeah, but ideas, dreams. Are your dreams for what you thought you wanted to do in your life collecting dust? If they are, why not revisit those dreams? I hope you have them written down. Revisit them, wipe the dust off of them, and decide, do I still want to do that or not? Do I still want that to be part of my life before I die? And the answer may surprise you, because the answer may be yes, or the answer may be, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need that anymore. So dusting them off allows you to then easily declutter what you don't want in dreams and ideas and life stuff, so that there's more space, and it reminds you of this. I have had on my list for the past X many years that I want to travel to Greece. And that idea, every time I would see it on my Trello board, I'm like, yeah, I still want that to happen. I still want that to happen. I still want that to happen. In May, in June, it's going to happen. Sue says, acquiring and collections are part of neurodivergence. I understand that, and I am now playing with my toys. Yay. My toys are makeup, skincare, and costume jewelry. Here's an interesting thing. I just want to throw this out there to just the general thought discussion. I resent the fact that neurodivergence already has like a negative connotation. Like there's neurotypical, and then you're diverting from the typical. To me, I think neurodivergence is a great thing. I do. I find the most interesting people to talk to tend to be people who are engaged and interested in things, and maybe overly interested in things. Maybe, they've got a collection of something, but man, do they know a lot about that. But I think it's a cool thing when you collect stuff. Now, knowing what you have and where it is and not being overwhelmed by the collection, actively managing the collection and not always being in acquisition mode, that's kind of a different deal. But notice my toys are makeup and skincare and costume jewelry. You're having fun with it. So yay for that. And yay for being interested and interesting. Interesting monsters need interesting hairdos, right? Being interested in something attracts more of that to you. Being engaged, connected to something, being curious and wanting to learn more. These are all wonderful human attributes, I think. Have you ever met anybody who's like, nope, I don't know, not interested, I just watch TV? They may be good for some people, but they're not my people. People who are not curious and creative and willing to learn and playful, yeah, they can go hang out and watch the game. Yes, and hooray for making yourself happy. Because notice too, Sue is sharing, this is what makes me happy. And that can ignite a spark in somebody else. That can leap to somebody else and say, oh, bing, I never thought of that. That my toys are my makeup and skincare and costume jewelry. I like to play with that stuff. It's fun to me. It brings a certain joy and delight for me to do that. And I don't need to be ashamed of it. I can enjoy it. And I love it. I mean, gosh, if anybody has ever seen, you see those well-dressed people, and the ones that are not just dressed like the mannequin at the store, but they really put their own spin on it, that they really look stylish. I think that's pretty cool, and that's inspiring. And even if you live in a black t-shirt 99.9% of your waking days like I do, you can still appreciate and admire and bask in the glow of somebody who is really being themselves. And if that means dressing up all the time and wearing heels, I'm not going to convince them to dress like me. I'm going to say, you do you. You keep on going. You look awesome. And I can bask in that glow. So speaking of, I just bought a sparkly dress because I did have a coupon and it was wicked cheap. Now I have to find a reason to wear a sparkly dress. It'll be kind of fun. mixing it up. All right. So, you guys, we got about 4 minutes here, or maybe 3. I'm going to sign off momentarily. Any concluding thoughts or statements or questions you have, put it in the chat and we can go from there. Okay. You may need to tidy up after you do. Yeah. Yucking someone's yum. Yes, exactly. Doesn't make you sweeter. I love it. Yeah. Extroverts monitor socializing. All behaviors can be a little too much. Goldilocks is finding the just right. I was thinking about that today too. The Goldilocks, right? Tuesday is a good reason for a sparkly dress. Ooh, could be. Could be. Depends on how comfortable I'd be because it's going to be a little bit crinkly if I sit down in it. But I will take a look at my Tuesday schedule and see what I can do, Laura. But notice, ooh, that could be something. I'll think about that. Yeah. So the fun thing is with the Goldilocks too, as I was thinking about it, I was talking to somebody about decluttering actually at this music show we went to on Saturday night. And she was talking about how she moved from Ohio. This woman I just sat next to moved from Ohio to Brooklyn. She's got a tiny little space. And I said, oh, well, that's good. You already decluttered the stuff. So now all you have fits in this thing. And she's like, oh, no, I still have an attic full in my house that I own out in Ohio. And she said, but it's funny because I put all the stuff I thought I was going to want up in the attic. And then I moved away. And then when I came back, suddenly it's a lot more clear to me. Like the dust has settled, like the temperature has gone from, oh my gosh, I might need all this. And it has cooled off. And it allowed her to see the things that she could now easily let go of, because in a way it was kind of like the temperature. The temperature adjusted and she could see the stuff that she was still hot about and the other things where it had kind of cooled off. Notice that when you're in the shower, sometimes it's too hot, sometimes it's too cold, like that just right feeling with regards to temperature. Sometimes what we do is when we think things are too hot to make a decision, we're too afraid, we put it in storage in the attic or the basement to kind of get some distance, but hopefully also maybe cool down your nervous system, cool down how you feel about it. So the next time you see it, when you're not so wound up, that you might see it a little bit more clearly and feel better about what you're doing. So, yeah. And just something to think about. Just something to think about. You know, we're all on this journey. As I said, even me, as a decluttering life coach, showing up now for almost years now, I am still going through my clutter. Now, you know, just from seeing me that I am going through the deepest and the lowest and the smallest of the sentimental clutter. And then honestly, what I will probably do is also start reopening these things and seeing, do I really enjoy? When was the last time I even looked at my vintage postcard collection? Maybe it's a good excuse for me to look at it and I still enjoy it. Or I may be ready to let it go and share those postcards with somebody else. Who knows? That being said, we're wrapping up right now, you guys. A TikTok live and a YouTube live tomorrow. Maybe a sparkly dress. Depends on if I feel like it or not. I hope you're doing well. I hope this was helpful. And I will catch you on the flip-flop. Okay? Bye.